Patriots fans, lock in because something is happening in Foxborough right now, and when a bunch of different signals start pointing in the same direction, you better believe I'm paying attention. This is not just random off-season noise. This feels like a team laying out clues. This feels like a franchise with a plan. We're talking draft movement, roster building, pass rush urgency, and the kind of front office behavior that makes you stop and ask one question. What exactly are the Patriots trying to build for 2026? So if you're the kind of fan who wants more than just headlines, if you want the bigger picture, if you want the real read on where this thing is going, hit like, subscribe, and jump into the comments, because this is one of those moments where you can feel the story starting to take shape before everybody else catches up. Let's start with the draft visits, because no, these are not just little footnotes. The Patriots reportedly added 2 more names to their top 30 visit list: Penn State safety Zakee Wheatley and Ole Miss wide receiver Dejon Stribling. And the second I saw those names together, I didn't think, oh, interesting. I thought, okay, now we're seeing priorities. Wheatley is a fascinating one. Big frame, former corner turned safety, real experience, real ball production, and the kind of profile that screams range, versatility, and development upside. This is not some random flyer. This is a guy who played a ton of football, made plays on the ball, and brings the kind of size you notice immediately. Now put that into the context of what New England has already done. They brought in Kevin Byard on a 1-year deal, and they've also been connected to another free safety type in Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. You know what that says to me? It says the Patriots may be trying to solve the position twice, once for right now, and once for what comes next. That is how smart teams operate. That is how real roster construction works. You stabilize the room with a veteran, then you start searching for the next guy before the need becomes desperate. So no, I'm not telling you Wheatley is definitely the pick, but I am telling you the visit feels like a clue. It feels like the Patriots are looking hard at long-term range and center field ability on the back end of this defense. And then there's Stribling. Different position, same bigger message. Big-bodied receiver, legit speed, real experience across multiple programs, and a profile that fits what a team like New England should still be hunting for. Size, burst, vertical stress, lineup flexibility. This guy ran fast, he's got an NFL frame, and he looks like the kind of receiver you bring in when you want more competition and more upside in the room. Again, does that mean he's absolutely the guy? No. But it absolutely tells you what kind of traits the Patriots are still looking for. And let's not ignore the pattern here. Last year, several players the Patriots eventually drafted had visited New England before the draft. So no, a visit doesn't guarantee anything. But it is not meaningless theater either. It is a temperature check. It is a breadcrumb. It is the front office showing you where its eyes keep going. So I want to know this right now from Patriots Nation. If you had to bet today, what's the bigger priority in this draft room, safety or wide receiver? Now let's get to the rumor that has had the fan base buzzing for weeks, because this is where things get loud. A.J. Brown. The name just keeps hanging around the Patriots conversation, and lately the smoke has gotten thicker. Julian Edelman stirred the pot. Brown responded in a way that definitely didn't cool anything down. Then you see him working out with Kevin Byard, a guy he knows well from Tennessee and Philly, and suddenly everybody's asking the same thing. Is this actually building towards something, or are we just talking ourselves into it? Here's the truth. Nothing is done. Nothing is confirmed. There is no trade announcement hiding around the corner, but the buzz is real. And once you start looking at the trade landscape, it gets very interesting very fast. According to Phil Perry, league execs believe Howie Roseman would probably want something close to the Jalen Waddle price. Basically a first-rounder and a third. And that is where this gets serious. Because A.J. Brown is not just another wide receiver. That's a tone setter. That's a bully on the outside. That's a guy who changes how defenses line up and how your quarterback sees the field. But a first and a third? That is a heavy, heavy price for a team still trying to build sustainable strength across the roster. But here's where New England might have an opening. What exactly is Philly's leverage if the relationship is shaky, if the player wants out, and if there aren't a ton of realistic buyers lined up? That matters. A lot. Because asking for a premium return is one thing, actually getting it is another. If the market isn't fully there, and if the Eagles are staring at a messy situation, then the Patriots may be sitting in a better spot than people realize. And that to me is the key. Don't panic. Don't bid against yourself. Don't get emotional just because the name is huge. If the Patriots believe Brown is the missing piece that changes the ceiling of the offense, then yes, you absolutely monitor it. You stay on the phone. You stay ready. But the smartest play might be patience. Make Philly sweat. Let the calendar work. Test how real their leverage actually is. That feels a whole lot more like disciplined Patriots business than jumping into a desperate bidding war. And let me ask you this, because this is where the debate gets real. Would you give up a first and a third for A.J. Brown? Or would you hold the line and dare Philadelphia to blink first? Drop that in the comments, because that argument right there could split the whole fan base. Now swing over to the defense, because if there is one area where nobody should be pretending everything is fine, it is the pass rush. The Patriots finished with just 35 sacks last season, 22nd in the league. That is not good enough. Not for a team trying to reestablish identity, not for a defense that wants to dictate terms. And when you lose K'Lavon Chaisson on top of that, the urgency gets real in a hurry. Yes, Draymond Jones helps. Yes, a healthier Harold Landry matters, but does this pass rush feel finished? Not even close, which is why a name like Cameron Jordan becomes so interesting. And let's be clear, this is not about nostalgia. This is not some old head reunion fantasy. The man just had 10.5 sacks. 10.5! That would have led the Patriots. So if you're looking for immediate juice, immediate edge presence, immediate grown man production, of course that name grabs your attention. Now, does it come with questions? Absolutely. He's 36. He's going into year 16. And yeah, he has made it pretty obvious that weather matters to him, which is not exactly ideal if we're talking about Foxborough in December. So let's stay disciplined here. There is no confirmed deal, no public advance negotiations, no guarantee this is even remotely close. But as a football fit, as a statement of need, it makes perfect sense. Because sometimes a young defense doesn't just need fresh legs. It needs an old pro who knows how to win the snap before the ball is even out. A guy with timing, hands, counters, and real pass rush wisdom. Even in a rotational role, that kind of player can change a room. And even if Cameron Jordan never puts on a Patriots jersey, the fact that his profile makes sense tells you exactly what this team is missing. So let me throw this one to you too. If the price is right, would you bring in Cameron Jordan for 1 year and let him help push this defense forward? Or are you done with stopgap veterans and ready to go younger no matter what? And that brings us to the draft name that might be the most exciting pass rush swing of all, Cassius Howell. Because if Cameron Jordan is the quick jolt, Howell is the long play with serious upside. And honestly, if the Patriots are truly committed to fixing this pass rush for real, this is exactly the kind of player they should be studying hard. The logic is simple. This team leaned too much on blitzing to create pressure. That is dangerous living. If your front can't win enough on its own, the entire defense starts paying the price. That is why taking an edge rusher early is not some luxury pick. It is not some flashy toy. It is a direct answer to a real problem. And Howell? This is where it gets fun. Productive, explosive, advanced as a pass rusher. 11.5 sacks last season, and not just because he's a raw athlete flying around. This is a guy people talk about as one of the best pure pass rushers in the class. That matters. Sack production is one thing. Sack production with technique and actual rush craft? That's different. That travels. Now yes, the concern is real too. Arm length. That is the knock. That is the thing that could make some teams hesitate. And if you want to be fair, you have to say it. You can't just ignore it because the tape is exciting. But you also can't act like measurements are destiny. The league has seen productive players get nitpicked coming out and then make evaluators look silly once the games start. And maybe, just maybe, this Patriots regime is willing to trust the football over the template. They've already shown they can be willing to live with certain physical questions if they believe in the player. So if Howell is there in the right range, don't be shocked if New England talks itself into the juice, the disruption, and the upside over the fear. That's the bigger takeaway from all of this. The Patriots do not look like a team sitting still. They look like a team searching for speed, pressure, succession, depth, and impact. Some of these things are facts, some are clues, some are possibilities. But taken together, they paint a picture of a franchise trying to build with purpose again. And that should matter to every single Patriots fan watching this. So now I'm throwing it to you one last time. Which potential move excites you most for 2026? The draft visits? The possibility of a big-name receiver? A veteran pass rush boost? Or a young edge prospect who could become a problem for years? Hit the comments, fire off your take, share this with another Patriots fan, and make some noise, because if these signals are real, then Foxborough is not drifting right now. Foxborough is loading up.